Good morning, YouTube friends. My name is Faith Storms. I'm a licensed social worker therapist with a passion for EFT tapping and energy psychology and law of attraction. And today I wanted to do a new video on EFT tapping. I know I've been doing lots of videos on law of attraction principles, and I think I've certainly covered the basics. And today I realized, well, I haven't done just a straight tapping video for a while. And EFT tapping is so useful for so many people. I want people to keep being aware of it and keep learning about it. EFT tapping stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It helps to shift any negative emotion, any negative body sensation, or can help to reduce distress about a specific event, a specific traumatic event. So, and I always, like I tell my clients, please don't sit around and try to deal with your trauma by yourself. I encourage you to find a therapist, a coach, someone to be there with you when you're dealing with trauma. However, if traumatic aspects, if traumatic memories come to you at various times in life, which they tend to, then by all means use the tapping to ease off the symptoms of that. I just don't like that people would have to face all that alone. You should not have to face it alone. So this is going to be focused on just negative emotion, and anxiety is typically the biggest emotion that I target when I'm teaching this to people. Now, you can also target anger, you can target frustration, you can target depression. It's just not as much energy. Anxiety has a lot of energy. So when we're anxious, we've got there's lots of energy, and we know we're anxious. Sometimes if we're depressed, we don't always know that as much, and it doesn't shift as quickly or as much. So if you're anxious, and believe me, in the world today, a lot of people are anxious. Oh my goodness, through the roof. So if you're feeling anxious, and the other nice thing about EFT is you do not have to know why you're anxious. Now, if you do, that's fine. The original instructions put out by Gary Craig were be as specific as possible. So if you know exactly why you're anxious, awesome, then you put that into the words that I'm about to share with you and demonstrate. So, but if you don't know why you're anxious, that's okay. Like, you do not have to know exactly why you're anxious, and this will still work just fine. So identify the feeling or the body sensation or both. You know, gosh, I'm really anxious and my chest is tight, or I feel clenched in my stomach, or I'm fluttery. So identify the feeling. You can also focus on, you can rate it. You can say, how intense is it? 0 to 10. 0 is nothing. You're totally fine. 10 is like the worst imaginable. So you want to go, okay, I'm anxious. It's a 6, it's a 8, it's a 10, it's a 12. Some days it might be a 12. But give it a rating just so that you know, is it going down as you work on it? Okay. And like I said, if it's connected to a specific issue, then you can throw that in too. Step 1 is the setup, and you tap on the outside, so not the top, not where your thumb is, the other side of your hand, in the fleshy spot there, while you say this. Step 1 is the setup. So even though I have this anxiety, even though I have this fill in the blank problem, even though I have this anxiety, even though I have this anxiety about work today, even though I have this anxiety about my money situation, even though I have this anxiety about my relationship or my kids or anything, even though I have this anxiety, I accept myself. Even though I have this anxiety, I accept myself. Even though I have this anxiety, I accept myself. You do the even though setup statement 3 times while you tap here. And then the tapping sequence is eyebrows. And while we tap on each of our spots, we're just going to repeat what our problem is. In this case, it'll be my anxiety. So my anxiety, eyebrows next to your nose there. The next spot is the side of your eyes, eyebrows on the temples there, my anxiety. Next is just under your eyes on the bone there, my anxiety. I can feel more relaxed as I tap. Upper lip, my anxiety. The next spot's called the chin. It's not the point of your chin, it's the crease just under your lower lip, my anxiety. Then collarbone points, the bony protrusions right next to your throat, my anxiety. The next spot is just under your armpit, either side. And for this, I kind of use my knuckles to get that spot, my anxiety. For females who wear bras, middle of your bra strap, easiest way to find that one, my anxiety. Then put your fingers together, top of your head, my anxiety. Pause, take a breath, or a couple breaths. A nice sighing breath is also very relaxing. So once you go through the points, then you take a breath, relax, check back in with yourself. How does the feeling feel? Is it less intense, more intense, the same? How does your body feel? Like if you had tightness in your chest, is your chest still tight or is it relaxed a little bit? If you're working on a specific incident, what's changing about that? So if you check in with yourself and you notice, okay, I'm a little less anxious, but I'm still anxious, fine, go back to the tapping points. My anxiety or my anxious feelings. My anxious feelings. Just go through the points again. If you've got the same feeling going on, so it's still anxiety, you do not need to do this again at this point. So my anxiety, just go through the points, my anxiety, or the tightness in my chest, the weight on my chest, whatever you're targeting, whether it's a feeling or body sensation, the weight on my chest, the anxiety, and then check back in. Is the feeling more or less the same? Do several rounds of this. When I'm doing tapping for myself, always the setup, yes. And I usually go through the tapping points 2 or 3 times before I pause and check in, because I like this. This feels good. So I like tapping. It really does, like by the time I get about halfway through the points, I usually am like I usually take an exhale and I'm like, yes, like things are shifting. So you just go through the points, go through the points 2 or 3 times, check in, how are you feeling? If the anxiety is going down, which it usually does for most people, when it gets, the official instructions say when it gets to 0, you're done. Well, not everybody gets to 0 all the time. Sometimes we get to a 1 or a 2, it's still there, even if we keep tapping and tapping. If you kind of feel like, I don't think it's going any lower right now, then you're done. As long as it's gone down, it's fine. And for people that have high anxiety, if you live at a 6 or an 8, like all the time, you might only get down to a 4 at first. And that might be as low as you can go. I encourage people to tap until it's below 5. 5 and above is the red zone. I call that the red zone. Tap until you're at least below a 5. 1 or 2, 0 is ideal. 1 or 2 is just fine. If you can only get down a couple notches, that's good too. Like any progress is good. And feel encouraged. Hey, I got it down a little bit. That's good. And then go on with your day. And then the next time it jumps up, do it again. Get it down a little bit. And then go on with your day. Not we all can't sit around tapping for hours. And typically you don't need to anyways. This is a very quick treatment. This is a very quick intervention. Usually only takes a couple minutes, brings it down some or a lot, and then you just move on. So there we go. EFT tapping. I love it. It's simple. It's easy. You can do it any place, anytime. You don't need a therapist to do it. You don't need a coach to guide you through. Like I said, if you're dealing with trauma, if you're dealing with complex issues, please get support. However, this is a self-administered procedure, which is why I love it so much. It's very empowering, helps most people most of the time, so give it a try. I hope that's helpful. If you need any guidance, support with any of this, message me, contact me. I'd be happy to help. Have a great day.